is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Hope all is well out there on a beautiful Tuesday, I hope, wherever you're at, although it's cold here, man. Cold for us, South Florida, especially for me, actually, because I'm still, as you know, I'm battling a cold. So we will fight through it. I just want this, like, cold air to get out of here. What is it, like 70 now, 68? You people up north are going, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, we don't like cold weather down here in South Florida, bro. We don't want it anywhere here. That's kind of the idea. Stay away from us. Keep us nice and warm. That's what we like. That's why we live here. Anyway, hope you all are well out there on a Tuesday. Not necessarily a ton going on in sports. Kind of a calm day today. Dolphins are in their off day. As they prepare this week for the Dallas Cowboys. And that should be a lot of fun on Sunday. These next 3 weeks can be the most exciting time for Miami Dolphin fans in 40 years. Seriously.
Because if you win these games, you would have established yourself as a legitimate team, as a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and you are no longer that Dolphins team that we all fear. Because I don't believe this is that team. And I will tell you that, and I will go to the why do you think I get pissed when they lose? Because they're better than that. And, that's where I got to put the heat on McD. Yo, man, they gave you the talent. Let's go. Get it done. You can't be dropping these Tennessee games and shit. Okay? I need you to start winning these kind of games. The Tennessee ones, I need you to – that should have been in the bank already. I should have had that Tennessee game, and that way when little Lamar Jackson comes up on the schedule, you'll shut down he and his little Mickey Mouse ass passing game of his, and then you take over the AFC. But got to get that going. And so I know that these 3 weeks, this team has an opportunity to send that message that, this is not the same Dolphins team. And they're not. And I hope that they prove that finally, and we get over the hump, man. That's what I'm looking forward to. So I saw something this morning, and just let me give you a Bitcoin update, okay? Just something that, I'm perusing through articles today, and for those of you, some of you have finally gone on board and you finally listened to me. For 3 years now, many of you have left. And I wonder if some of you already admit it by now. You got to admit you're feeling pretty stupid by now by not listening to me the last 3 years about Bitcoin. But anyway, especially in the last year when, it hit the bottom at 16.5. So Franklin Templeton's executive, I want you to listen to this, okay? Because I knew this kind of stuff was coming anyway, but you need to hear it from the banking people. Franklin Templeton's executive expects all nations to hold Bitcoin. Every country is going to have some in their reserves. Because gold ain't shit to Bitcoin. You could keep mining all the gold you want. You'll keep finding. They just found one in Africa, a chunk that was, I think, the biggest gold chunk they've ever found. You can keep mining. There's more gold to be mined. There's 21 million Bitcoin and it ends. It's over. Okay? And like 2 or 3 million of it is already lost. And there's less than 2 million to be mined. When that's over, it's over. There's no more. And when you hear something like this, Senior Vice President and Head of Digital Assets Industry and Advisor Services, Sandy Kyle, discussed the future and the outlook for Bitcoin in an interview with Natalie Brunell, published on Thursday, called Positions at Shears Lehman, a global leader investment, regarding the broader adoption of Bitcoin and the potential for nations, states to embrace it. The executive said, I think you're already starting to see that, she explained, that less developed nations combined with some of the buying power around Bitcoin have used it as a way to compete more effectively with bigger companies and bigger countries and bigger economies, emphasizing, I think you'll see more of that, Kyle stressed. I also think it's going to become something that every treasury needs to hold because portions of their business will just be facilitated more easily through Bitcoin payments than through foreign exchanges, conversions that need to happen and enable cross-border trade today. I can read, there's more stuff, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but the only reason I mention it, it's because I've been such a proponent of it for so long, and I've been trying to tell you and explain to you what's coming because the dollars all over the world are crumbling. And, El Salvador got ahead of it. Their credit rating's gone up. Their tourism is up 30% this year. They are, and they buy a Bitcoin every day, actually. He bought a bunch a while back, and then they buy one literally every day. They dollar cost average every day and buy a Bitcoin in El Salvador. They're not stupid. That's going to help them. Whether you have gold or silver or whatever in your reserves, you got to add Bitcoin now. So if countries are going to add it, the banking
BlackRock, with their ETF, they also added the opportunity for the banking system to get in and allow their customers to get Bitcoin. Mass adoption's coming. I told you mass adoption was coming 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago. It's here. And all of these banks, they used to just talk crap about it because they knew that it was, like Jamie Dimon. Nobody's dirtier than Jamie Dimon. He talks about Bitcoin like it's dirty, and here's the guy that tries to manipulate silver and lie about Bitcoin, and his company in Europe is buying all the Bitcoin while he's lying to Americans here saying that Bitcoin's no good. Yeah, these people are scam artists. And it's what we've been trying to tell you, but I get it. I'm just a little old talk show host, so why are you going to believe me, right? I mean, what would I know? You know what I'm saying? But it's there for you. A lot of you look really stupid. And a lot of you should feel really stupid for trying to make me stupid when I was the smart one. So I hope some of you got smart along the way. And if you haven't, well, you better get smart quickly, because what you got in the bank is dying, and it's worth less and less every single day. Okay? So Bitcoin's worth more and more every day. Your dollar's worth less and less every day. If you can't see that math, I cannot help you at all. Okay? So just another try to wake you up type of thing. Jamie Zorrilla, number 1 in San Jose on the roll call. The depth on this team is impressive. The Dolphins were missing 10 starters. That last night watching the Eagles game, I tweeted out, Dolphins healthy and play to their potential, they'll handle the Eagles. No problem. That Eagles team is, remember we talked about it yesterday, all the issues and all, well, they lost again now. That offense ain't shit, dude. We'll get to that. Ray Sosa in. Kyle Cockrell is in. C's. I'm not the first, but at least I'm not the last, he says. Joseph is in. Epic, ready for an epic game on Sunday. Nico, my prediction, Finns beat the Cowboys at home, lose to the Ravens on the road, and knock the Bills out in Week 18. I want him to run that table, boy. I don't think they should lose to Baltimore. I think Miami's better than Baltimore. Once you get these guys back, that secondary, Lamar will do nothing against that secondary. Let's see. One-Eyed Jack is in. Prediction on who will be featured at Hard Knocks tonight, Chubb or Waddle? Chubb would be the one because of the helmet stuff and everything the week before and all that. Chubb would be the good one, because if they got him apologizing to teammates and all that kind of stuff, because he was pissed last week and all that, and he talked about how he apologized to his teammates and everything. If they got all of that, that'll be pretty cool. John Padilla in, Walter Olivares, Gordon Shumway, Jay Gelfin, Steven Gonzalez. Did you see the reaction from Hurts after the game? He looks like he just lost the Super Bowl. He has no passion. Well, he's not a passionate guy. That's not his thing, Steven. That's not that. Don't judge him by that. That's not really who he is. And that shit face that he has, it's kind of normal. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't go one way or the other. There's something else that I would tell you about it. We'll get into that conversation. I want to do that right now. Omar Lopez in, Timothy Eason, man of 1,005 holds. Weapon X United in the house. Lisa Rose, Chad, Crypto Fins, Gus 1388, Alexis Palenzuela, Drago, Green Lion, Hunter Butler. Safe to say we aren't getting primetime games in the future. Green Lion Orlando will jump in January and also push ETH up. You only mentioned Bitcoin. These firms have to cover with. Oh, no, I know. They will add Ethereum too. Yes, I totally agree that they will add Ethereum. But the difference is Bitcoin right now is the priority for them because that's the store value. And that's the one that
there's less of compared to the others. You know what I'm saying? Hell of a lot more Ethereum in circulation. You know what I'm saying? That's what we try to explain to you with the US dollar. Like when people talk about inflation and then they blame it all on Biden, and it's like, it's lazy, but that's all right. People don't really understand economics. The guy before printed $8 trillion. It's a record that's never been printed. Trump created a quarter of our GDP in 4 years. Something's been going on for 60 years in a quarter of it. That guy created a quarter of our debt in 4 years. What do you think happens when you put $8 trillion more into circulation? Money goes down, value, so you buy less. Inflation has to do with everybody, not just Biden, not just Trump, not just Obama, not just Bush Jr. You know what I mean? People they're lazy and they don't understand everything that's going on. And so the laziness is, oh, let's just blame Biden for everything, which is not, it's actually not accurate. The problems you have are cumulative of everybody that has contributed, but the last guy actually contributed way more than this guy and the guy before that, because the last four have been terrible. I mean, the last four could not be any worse, but the last guy, that's why you have that. You know what I mean? But people don't keep up with that because they have their stupid little politics and they pick their sides and all that kind of stuff. Since I learned about this, I have no side anymore. I don't care about either one. I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with both sides. But people don't really understand the economics. It's something I didn't understand either, by the way. And I'm not perfect on it or anything like that, but I understand fractionalized banking now. I understand exactly what the Federal Reserve is trying to do. I understand now what each president has done in creating problems for us. You know what I mean? But in general, most of you are lazy and you don't know any of that stuff because you don't take the time to learn about it. You just listen to the idiots above that program your asses. That's all. You know, it's a shame, man. Really is a shame. Let's see. Drago in Jules. I'm sick of the Bills and the Bills chatter. Well, you got to shut them down in the last week. You got to send that message. Let's see. Was that Dan Marino playing QB on the last drive for the Seahags last night? Wow. Yeah, that was nice. Good for Drew Locke, man. Right? Yeah, this has been the year of the resurrection. Baker Mayfield has really resurrected his career and done a really nice job and lifted himself to a place that maybe a lot of us, including yours truly, didn't think he could get to, because he's become a very efficient quarterback overall and has had one hell of a season. Baker Mayfield, 3,315 yards. I had this yesterday. I was going to talk about it. I didn't get to it. He has 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. 3 for 1 is pretty good interception ratio. 2 for 1's decent. 3 for 1's pretty good. Now, when you start to get your 4 and 5 to 1, now you start to get the really elite company. But 3 to 1 is good, especially for Baker. 63% completion percentage is decent. It's really not great. You want to really get over 65. You want to be between 66 and up into 70 and stuff like that. Actually, this is where Baker peaks at. He peaks at 63. That's been his whole thing. He never gets over the 65 threshold. But it's interesting to watch Baker Mayfield resurrect his career. It's interesting to watch, Geno Smith last year, now this year, resurrect his career. You know, now people we all look at Geno Smith a lot different. You know, he was looked at like he was a bust, basically. And it's been kind of cool watching some of these guys that were kind of forgotten, were backups, were not respected, and they've kind of fought through their own adversity to become, you know, a decent quarterback and kind of, you know, justify their positions in this league. I think that's actually pretty cool. There's who's the other guy that I was thinking of? Not Jordan Love. Although Jordan had a couple of moments, he hasn't turned any corner yet. But I'm trying to remember. There is somebody else that did a nice job of kind of resurrecting their careers, and I was thinking about that yesterday, and now I'm forgetting the note. But it's been a couple. There's one more guy that I'm forgetting, and it's been pretty cool to watch that. And then you see Drew Locke yesterday. Not that he's resurrecting anything whatsoever, okay? But here's a kid that came in with some hype because he has all the ability, dude. All the ability. Maturity was always a problem with Drew Locke. He had a little bit of what's called trouble reading defenses and reacting. You know what I'm saying? And yesterday to have that moment for him, and then if you see the interview with Lisa Salters after, and how he kind of put his emotions out there, I thought that was a cool moment. It's good for him because these guys, they fight through so much adversity in this league, and then they take all the heat from the fans and the media. Oh, you suck, you aren't a good pick, and then they trade you away and they send you here and they send you there, and you bounce all over the league, and you kind of. He even talked about it yesterday. Like you lose confidence in yourself. Like, yo, man, am I good enough or what? You know what I mean? And you are good enough, but you gotta kind of cross that threshold in a way to then kind of convince yourself that you're that guy, So it's pretty cool. Now, Josh Dobbs had a moment. He didn't really Goff, nice job. Man of 1,000. That's the guy, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is the other guy from last year and this year, done a beautiful job of turning his career around also. That's another guy that we thought he was done. You know what I mean? The Dobbs stuff and the Jordan Love stuff and, last night for Drew Locke, those are moments. That ain't shit. They haven't turned anything around. Geno Smith has made himself a half-decent quarterback. Baker Mayfield made himself a half-decent quarterback. And Jared Goff has made himself a half-decent quarterback nowadays. That's what I mean. That's been the fun part, is watching some of these guys, because it takes a pretty special human being to take the beating that Geno Smith has taken, bounced around the league, embarrassed like Jared Goff, like, yeah, you're not good enough for us. We're gonna send you to Detroit. That's like a jail sentence normally. You know what I'm saying? And that I find that to be a really cool story. Baker Mayfield. You lose your job. You got the father of a player going after you. You bounce around. You end up in Tampa, and look what you've done now. You know what I mean? It takes a certain level of mental toughness, man. Those are some really cool stories this year and last year, watching what is the most important and the most hard and the most difficult position to play in all of pro sports, and to watch those three gentlemen kind of overcome. I find it to be a really cool thing. So, what's it called? And Flacco is not resurrected shit. Flacco is just an old quarterback trying to hang on for a couple more games. He threw 3 interceptions this week, man. I know they won, but it's nothing special there. What else do we have on the chat board? Laces Out says, I sure hope I was wrong, but Buffalo will take this division. Well, actually, if Miami wins the next 2, there's no way Buffalo can do that. You know that, right? If they win the next 2 weeks, it doesn't matter what Buffalo does. They have a 2-game lead on Buffalo. So it really, we won't know that until we get to. So you're saying Miami's losing 2 of 3, is what you're saying, which is, the typical weak Dolphin fan that has no hope and looks at the team and just goes with the lazy take. You're the one that didn't like Bitcoin either, probably. Nathan Noel, you tell him, Big O. Fins up. Drago in 73 against Pittsburgh was the last win 17-0. No, that's not true. Dan Marino won on the road. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Drago? What's the Dolphins' last road win was in the early 70s? No, dude. Wasn't it Seattle for Marino? Didn't we win with Seattle? Wasn't it was that the Aronde Gadsden catch on the far right corner of the sidelines in the Seattle game? What, if I remember correctly, right? I want to say. Look it up for me. I want to say Marino won in Seattle. Whatever. Anyway, Lou Duder, you jump into a Dolphins chat room with this doom and gloom because the Bills beat the choking Cowboys. Give it a rest. Should I buy Bitcoin trust stock? Green Line, I only buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't buy no stock. I don't buy no ETF. I don't buy no nothing, dude. I own it. It's mine. Okay? I own it. That's the only way you buy it. All right? If you're filthy rich and you don't care, then you can just throw your money in an ETF and, if you want to, whatever. But personally for me, as I've said over and over again, open yourself up an account at crypto.com, get a Tangem wallet, learn how to use both, buy off of crypto.com, collect a certain amount, and then move it over to your Tangem wallet, and you'll be fine. Own your own Bitcoin. Own your Ethereum. That's what I would do. It's the only thing I would do. I would not have anybody hold my Bitcoin or Ethereum, or that I am investing in their ETF because they own the Ethereum or the Bitcoin and I don't. I am just gambling on whether it's going to go up or down, and I'm just going to make money off of their profits. But I physically, literally don't own the Bitcoin. Not doing that. Not doing that. So that's the way I go about it. By the way, we've been telling you about this since it was way down at 16,000 and it's up in the 43 range. So I don't know much more proof you guys need, and the entire world's about to jump in on January 10th. Yes, sir, Sean.
January 9th, 2000, it was the Dolphins beating the Seahawks.
Okay.
20-17. And then the following week on the 15th was the debacle in Jacksonville.
Right. 62-7. I know, I was there. And by the way, didn't Aronde Gadsden look at his stats? Did he have a long catch, like maybe 40 yards, 50 yards? Because I'm pretty sure Seattle, that was the right sideline throw, if I remember correctly. Somebody help me out with that. NorCal says, Big O Sean, all great chat boarders. Big shout out to the Elk Grove crew. They meet up at other clubs out in Elk Grove, California. Thanks for the invite last week. Fins for life. I like it. I like it. Brian says hello from South Carolina. Roderick Freeman. Big O and Sean, I have more trust in you than in these lame brains about Bitcoin. I know I'm late to the game, but I'll definitely check it out. Thank you for telling me the truth. You got it, my brother. Unless you choose a side, then you'll have problems wanting to hear the truth. But if you're just an open American with an open mind, you will definitely take advantage of the advice because it's the good advice. The bad advice is the one you get from Democrats and Republicans. That's the bad advice you get. You guys haven't figured that shit out yet, but that's all right. Keep being divided. That's exactly what they want. Sam the Man is in. Omar Geiner, Alexis Palenzuela, Lenny Pena, Vishal Saxena. Bye Bye Barry is a good documentary on Amazon Video, the best ever. Oh, I saw that. The Barry Sanders one. I saw it. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Hunter says you got to spend money to make money. If you had merch, I guarantee the people on the live show alone will make you a profit. Yeah, the merch is coming. We're finishing up the hats now.
We've got the shirts, the polos, the t-shirts, different styles. Got the blind ass fan alert one. We've created a bunch of them now. I'm finishing up the hats. We'll have a Big O Show logo one with the Bitcoin style, with the Bitcoin logo, Big O, the B for the Big O and all that kind of stuff. So we're finishing up on that. John is finishing up those things, and we're pretty close to posting it up now. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited because John's designed some really, really nice stuff, man. So it's slow, but hey man, I'm a solo guy. I got so much shit to do. It's not an easy thing, man. Raul Torres says, all I want is one game at a time, boys. Off a bad loss, they're going to be ready. Big McDaniel game. Have the team ready. That's right. I agree with you, on that. Both sides are trash. Well, try to tell these people out there to figure that shit out. You know what I mean? That's the problem. You got some treating it like a cult, and they're so dumb. It's ridiculous. The level of stupidity in this country is enormous, dude. Finn fan in Bills territory. Dolphins should use Remember the Titans as their theme as they march towards the playoffs. Dolphins should just kick some ass, bro, and be the Dolphins, not the Titans and not anybody else. Be themselves. Go out there and prove that you're completely different than what's gone on in the past. Tampa is going 10-7 and winning the division because of Baker and Evans. Yeah, and the defense. They got a decent running game. The team's played well, but Baker, man, good for him. Good for him. You know what I'm happiest for? I hope he gets his commercials back because I actually liked his commercials. Roy Burnop says, if you ain't in crypto, then you're going to be pissed. Facts, Big O. That's right. Browning in Cincinnati. That's a good one too, Alexis. He's done a nice job for himself. Cincinnati's got themselves one heck of a backup. No doubt about that. Jaffrard says, throwback Aqua jerseys this Sunday, guess will be flagged for defensive shifting delays all day. The Aqua sure stands out. Let's see. Walter Olivares, Eric Storm, Dizzy, Lou Duder, JT, Craig Miller, Finn fan, says Gardner. Minshew. Minshew is Minshew. He's always Minshew hasn't resurrected anything. Minshew is doing Minshew things. I mean, you guys know it. If you listen to the show in the offseason, that was one of the guys I wanted for backing up Tua, was Minshew. But I knew he was going to command a lot more money than they were willing to spend. They weren't going to spend a lot of money on their backup. But, yeah, man. No, actually, you know what? Now that I remember, he didn't end up signing for such a big deal, actually. They still got a good deal with Minshew. I like Minshew. I'm not surprised with Minshew. He's a solid backup, always has been. Where you don't want Gardner is starting every week. That's where you'll eventually get in trouble. But I love him as a backup. Anthony says, Big O, this is where you can judge the season. This is what it's all about. December football. Finally watch Bad Santa for Xmas. So funny. Xmas Eve spot game. You better get served first. I still haven't seen Bad Santa. Let's see. CSR collection. Don't forget Brock Purdy. Yeah, but that was already since last year. He's established himself. And that's not he did it from rookie. I'm talking about people that have gone through, like, they were forgotten already. They were like, okay, they're not any good. They're done. That's special, having to fight that. Goff has better traits than Geno Smith. I would not put them in the same category. I would agree with that, but I still have to give Geno Smith a lot of credit because he got to a point I never expected him to get. And Seattle has been a playoff team with Geno Smith. I'm giving him the credit, dude. I'm not going to do that to Geno. I'm not going to keep shitting on a guy that actually fights through adversity, bro. That's not cool. I don't need to measure where they're at on all three of them. Okay, I'm going to put Goff, Baker, and Geno. Whatever, bro. But either way, I would give all three a ton of credit. You know what I mean? Because they were all forgotten men. And I just admire that, as a person that has had to fight through his own adversities. I admire that. Tiger Shark Tony, thank you for the love in the super chat. I live in Fort Worth, aka Cowboy Country. Can't wait to beat the boys so I can give all my Cowboy fan friends some serious grief. Got lots of pride bets with them, jersey bets, etc. Fins up. Let's go. Let's go. We got to come through for the team and for Tiger. Don't forget, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. And, of course, you can always make my favorite kind of donation, a Bitcoin donation, which is at 42,650 right now. Okay. There we go. Bitcoin moving and a grooving. Cameron Wolf will join us at 10:30. So send him a reminder there. We will have Manny Navarro at 11. Safadine at 11:30. Anthony Chang at noon. Heat lost last night. Panthers lost last night. Minnesota was just better. And they were too big, dude. It was nice to get the guys back. It's only his first game back. Bam, solid game, not efficient. Not efficient. And that's the only thing that, I'm always critical of Bam in that sense. If you're going to not be a three-point shooter and you're going to be a mid-range guy, you need to be a much higher percentage. And as I've talked about with Bam, I think you need to play closer to the basket. So if you need to take 22 shots to score 22 points, that's not good enough. And in the fourth quarter, you shot 2 of 5, had a shot block and a turnover. You've got to be better in the closing moments. But it's his first game, and he's got to get back. But this is kind of his norm. He's not an efficient shooter for his size. He needs to become more of an efficient shooter. If you're not going to be a three-point shooter, then get a little closer and raise the percentage because you're not a good enough mid-range shooter. If you're not going to knock them at a really high rate, then you need to get inside and you need to start, making more of an impact. It was a weird game because Duncan's minutes got cut in. They started hot, and it seemed like both guys maybe didn't have the same kind of energy to finish the game, which is understandable also. But again, one of my knocks with Bam, okay, I love that he has the aggressive nature to him. Bring it closer to the basket, okay? I need you to become more efficient as a player. Can't have that many missed shots. For a guy that size and that can play that close to the basket. Last night was a little bit more difficult too because he was playing some tall trees. So we shall see. What time is the show tomorrow at Top Gun? Same morning. Tomorrow we're at Top Gun indoor range. If you can, Sean, pop up the billboard there. We will be tomorrow at Top Gun indoor range. So come on out and join us. And we'll be there this Wednesday and next Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays in a row. And then on top of that, we'll be back in January, and we're going to give you a date. Also, we're going to set it up in the next week, a shooting competition in January. So for those of you out there that have your guns, come on down and join us at Top Gun Indoor Range. We're going to have some fun. We'll have a shooting contest. Maybe we'll post the results. Okay, we're not going to post videos of the actual shooting. We don't want to do that and piss people off. But we will have. Maybe we'll show you the targets and who the winner is, which one of you ended up winning. That comes down and what prizes you won and all that kind of stuff. So I will work on. Both of us are going to work on because Top Gun's also going to have some prizes too. I don't know what they're going to give away. It'll be something pretty cool that gun enthusiasts will enjoy. I will bring some sports geeky stuff that you will enjoy, but they will have some stuff that if you're a gun enthusiast, you will enjoy. And remember, they have classes in Spanish also for the ladies. Okay. Concealed weapons courses, weapons training, all that kind of stuff, how to handle a pistol, everything. I think it's very important, man. You know, sometimes our ladies are left at home alone and you just never know. And, you know, it's always a good thing for them to be trained properly because you just never know. And unfortunately, it's a road we must exercise because of the way it's been laid out for us. The laws and everything else, what are we going to do? You just can't turn your nose away from it and avoid it. You know what I mean? Because it puts you at a disadvantage. So meet us tomorrow. Top Gun Indoor Range will be out there. You can go out there and shoot. Get a membership. Have some fun. Bring your archery equipment. They've got the only Dade County indoor archery range, which is pretty cool. God, I suck at archery. Holy shit, I need some practice in archery. That's some bad stuff. Very nervous, so must win. Let's get it. We'll do this for Dan Marino, my idol. Let's see. JT says, I remember someone saying McDaniel is not a great big game coach. Offensively smart in a game situation and experience against tougher opponents will show. I'm betting on the Niners. Okay. All right. Don't put down Gino. He's from my high school in South Florida, Miramar High. Cam Wolf decided to go back to his Cuban root. Yes, Cam Wolf is definitely back to the Cuban roots today. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Okay? Guaranteed. I bet he had some Cuban coffee this morning too. I bet that when we unleash the Wolf Pack, he's going to be wearing una guayabera, drinking Cuban coffee, smoking a Cuban cigar, right when we come back, because he's like 9 minutes late. Let's unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right. How you feeling, man? You feeling good?
I'm good, man. I heard the intro. I want to apologize for being late. I'm not drinking Cuban coffee today. I tried to sneak in a shower after my workout, so I was right on the borderline of my time. And I'm like,
I think I'm seeing un pastel de guayaba back there or something.
No Cuban coffee for me. Although I need some. I've been up since 6 a.m. because my daughter wouldn't sleep. But no Cuban coffee for me.
All right.
But yeah, my apologies. I was a few minutes late. I was trying to get a workout in the shower in. So
sorry, we've influenced your ass here in South Florida for sure, boy. Your ass fits perfectly here in South Florida now. That's for sure, because you have taken our thing. You know, that's impressive. But hey, you're doing it in honor, so I like that. I like that. It was in honor of the Cuban population.
I have nothing but respect from the Cuban population. I've learned a lot about Cuban folk since I've lived in Miami the last 5.5 years, and so
there you go. So just so you know, Cuban folks, there you go. In honor,
but I will say, black folk in general have that stereotype too. So,
Omar used to say the same thing. Yeah, Omar.
They call it CP time, colored people time. Is what the old expression is, and so I try not to feed in that stereotype. But today, I should have just came on straight from the workout and skipped the shower until after.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. The beauty of digital is we are flexible here, bro. I never worry about that shit. You know that. That's not something I ever get flustered about or anything like that. All right. So who's going to be the focus tonight on Hard Knocks?
You will be coming into the Jets game. I think that the focus is probably going to be a lot on Tua and Mike. I think that they're going to look at them after that loss to the Titans and see how the quarterback and the coach respond. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you see a little extra Bradley Chubb attention after the slammed helmet, and then he turns it into the big game. And so I think that he will be a main secondary character where you'll see a lot on him. But I do think you'll see a lot of the Mike speech. How does Mike get the team back up after a big loss, and what does Tua do as well? So if I was picking the show, I'd probably say it focuses on Mike, Tua, and Bradley Chubb. That's the three people circle for the show.
I'd be interested to see, because Chubb talked about how he apologized to his teammates. I wonder if they caught that on film. Him apologizing to his teammates about, the fracas last week.
Yeah, I'm sure he did, because I don't know if you saw, I did an interview with Bradley Chubb after the game. He's been very very accepting. Some people kind of run away from it and say, no, he's like, hey, he's owned it. He's like, hey, I screwed up. It was that was just a bonehead decision, and I had to make up for it, and he did the very next game. Probably the best game of his career. And so I'm sure they'll catch what he said to them. I'm curious if, for that type of situation with a vet, does your coach get on you, or does coach already know that you're wrong and just kind of lets you do your own deal? I'm curious all the behind the scenes there.
This coach knows this player knows this coach. That's one. Those I think that's the part that sometimes is misunderstood about NFL teams and coaches. The screaming might be there, but it's not always there. Sometimes with veterans, the last thing you do is scream at a veteran. It's basically a look, and the veteran's going to look at you going, yeah, I know I screwed up. And that's it. It's just there's, you're not going to get anywhere beating a dead horse at the moment. Veterans already know, real pros own to their, what he's done. They own up to you right away, and they're already ahead of you in trying to correct where they screwed up. You know what I mean? And the coaches like Fangio don't have to ride a Chubb. They may have to ride Cam Smith because he's young. They may have to go ride Cam Good because he's young. But, Agba or guys, when they screw up, they know it, dude. They know it. There's no reason to go out there and get into some shouting contest with them. That doesn't get anywhere with some of these guys.
Yeah, I think that you have to know how to motivate different players, right? Yeah. Certain guys, you got to get on them. They need the hard coaching. Certain guys, you build them up through affirmation, and certain guys, you let them beat them own selves up to an extent and see how they respond. And so the great coaches know how each of their players respond best. Just like we're all different learners, right? Some people learn more visual, vocal, it's just kind of how we do things differently. I think it's the same for players. And so Bradley clearly took it on himself. He took I'm sure he heard the criticism, the critiques about him being stupid and essentially losing that game from fans. And I thought it probably was overblown. He wasn't the reason they lost that game. It was a mistake, but there was more than that. But I think it was the perfect response at the perfect time, and for the defense to be the face of this win. I know that Jalen Waddle had an amazing day. Raheem broke some records. Tua completed 80-70% of his passes. That was a defensive show. You're shutting out a team for the first time in nearly 4 seasons. Shutting out anybody for the first time in nearly 4 seasons. Holding them to about 100 roughly yards and sacking them as many times as they did. Brandon Jones 2 picks. Defense kind of responded after that collapse. And so I think that all those guys probably looked themselves in the mirror and said, hey, that one's on us. What are we going to do about it?
For me this week, it wasn't about the players. I wasn't worried so much about the players. It was more about Mike McDaniel for me. That's what this month is. Not this past week, you're supposed to win. So I'm not impressed by it at all. By any stretch. You're supposed to beat the Jets. They literally have no offense. So you took care of business. I'm glad. But what I really liked out of Mike McDaniel this past week, and I need to see more of it, is that once Tyreek gets back, the Tyreek dependency dials back a little bit. The difficulty of the offense with Tyreek in it dials back a little bit, whether it's the motion stuff that you are constantly picking up penalties in, whether it's forcing it to Tyreek in in windows that are so tight that you're making it harder for your quarterback, or fade patterns to midget receivers, use the bigger receivers, winning challenges, getting plays in on time, all the little things, run situational running this past week. It was beautiful. He stuck with it on that third down and inside the 5 and gave it to Mostert again, and he scored on that third one. There were things that habitually I want him to pick up from this game and now use it in these big games coming up. I want him to kiss. I want him to keep it simple, stupid, sometimes. You don't have to complicate things that much. Sometimes you can just basically line up and punch somebody in the mouth. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a ton of motion. Sometimes you can use Tyreek as a decoy more than just as the whole thing. Spread the ball around. 8 guys got the ball. That to me, I need Mike McDaniel to kind of tweak it and become more of a head coach now than a play designer.
So my biggest takeaway of the offense was how they were proficient without Tyreek. And I think you hit it on the nail with a lot of those elements there. I think what was interesting, like we listened to Raheem after the game, and he kind of shared that Jalen Waddle was like beating himself up because he thought he should have been a bigger contributor to the offense at this stage of the season. And like see him have that type of game was good for his confidence. And so much we don't think about those innuendos because it's like you have such high expectations. And Waddle, to be fair, has dropped some passes this year. He hasn't been the typical player. And so you look at it from that frame of like, why isn't Waddle close to Tyreek? Because why is there such, because the first year they were there, you forget they were almost neck and neck. Although Tyreek was still the leading receiver, Waddle was like, it was like him or him. Like it wasn't that much of a difference. This year we're seeing a drastic difference because Tyreek's, on pace for 2,000 and Waddle is having some up and down games. And so like to see Waddle break out and show like I still got this in me, to see Tua without Tyreek, because I know you believe though, but there were some legit questions because we have never seen Tua without Tyreek in this Mike McDaniel offense. And we saw 2 quarters of it against the Titans and it looked awful. And so there was a legit concern of like, can these guys function even without Tyreek, right? And so for
watching him against Baltimore 2 years ago under sorry ass Brian Flores.
Right. But I'm saying what the conversation was coming into the game.
Right? Got the goods, bro. Come on.
That's what I said. I said you believe. I started with saying you believe, but not everyone did. Not everyone did. And so to see the actuality and to be real about it, Tua even said it. Tua even said after the game, he said it was either going to go one way or the other. We didn't really know. It was either going to go where we looked like we did against the Titans without Tyreek, or we found a way to make it work. And so even he had a little bit of apprehensive of what version of this offense are we going to see. And so you hope that builds Waddle's confidence. That builds Tua's confidence even more. That helps the rest of the group to say, hey, even if Tyreek is banged up a little bit because he's been nicked here and there throughout the season, that we can still function as an offense. And ideally,
and by the way, just a caveat to all of this, it's not just a Waddle thing. You're making everybody else run routes for almost no reason at all, dude.
Yep.
And you know what? You got to spread the love, dude. You got to give Craig Kraft some love. He was very productive for this team last year, and why he's not being used more, I don't really understand that. You can't figure out ways to include, which maybe there was a sign this week where Claypool and Cedric, maybe there's a start of something coming here. I don't know, but you got to start. You got to get the tight ends involved. Smythe made a couple plays. Use the running backs. Spread the ball around a little bit. It can't be all Tyreek. And it puts so much of a burden on the quarterback and the receiver that it's just all that all the time. And it's a lot easier for defenses than to focus in on the Dolphins that way.
Absolutely. I think what it also does is it gives you some hesitation as a defense. Because as a defense, I talk to defenses every week when I cover a Dolphins game, and they literally all say the same thing. We can't get obsessed with Tyreek's motion. We're going to have to give him extra eyes. Like everything is based off the idea of okay, if we do this against Tyreek, we can be successful. But what happens in the playoffs if you do find a way, which is hard? I'm not saying it's an easy thing. If you do find a way to stop Tyreek, but then the Dolphins still can beat you elsewhere. Like that's what I thought about this offense, especially in the first half of the season, made them extremely dangerous, because with Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane particularly, that gave them a different dimension that even if Tyreek had 3 catches for 22 yards, they could still put up 30 points, which did not seem imaginable at certain stages. Now, for the last month, I questioned whether we still had that element, because if you told me, hey, Tyreek's stat line was 3 catches, 22 yards, I'm probably going to say the Dolphins offense struggled. Yesterday was a glimpse of they can still be a 30-point team without Tyreek going off, because he didn't even play. And so you're obviously going to have Tyreek, but I think the fact that your offense can function, the running backs in particular, because they didn't have a great game yesterday, but the fact that McDaniel trusted them, kept running them the ball, especially in the red zone with Raheem, showed defenses that, hey, even when things are going to get tough, we're still going to count on our other guys outside of Tyreek, our Raheems, our Achans, our Waddles, our Craycrafts, and Smythe. Smythe had a pretty good game, probably the best game of a tight end I saw for the Dolphins all season. And so those are the things that make you more diverse as an offense and make defenses hesitate.
And you brought it up now in passing, but to me, that's what I was most impressed with in the game. You had an entire backup offensive line, and they held up against a very good New York Jets front.
It's a good defense.
I was very proud of those guys, and you could tell this coaching staff from front office, they could never field 5 guys.
No,
now they field 10 guys nowadays.
Yeah. Butch Berry deserves a lot of credit, because he's having a heck of a season with this O-line. They've changed every bit of the way. I think there's 10 different combinations now in 14 games. And so if there was a offensive line coach of the year award, I'd say that Butch Berry has to be at the forefront of that. He's done an excellent job. And I'll say this, like, I know fans give a lot of flack to, your Liam Eichenbergs. But like for Liam to fight through a calf injury, which looked pretty severe, like he left the game with the walking boot on. That's how significant it was, because he's clearly like still limited. For him to play along with a Teron Armstead, who fans have given a lot of flack because he's not stayed healthy a bunch, and it's like, oh, it's the jokes come. Oh, Teron's hurt again. How long is he? But Teron's fighting through another injury playing. Austin Jackson fighting through an injury that he didn't finish the game, but he's trying to fight through. That's a toughness that you want from your offensive line, and they showed it. And so for a group that's been much maligned the last 2 years before this, they have shown their ability to play well and play through adversity. And so I think that group deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, man. To me, I was really, really impressed with that. All right, injury-wise, what's your guess this week? Who comes back?
Yeah, I think you'll get Tyreek back. I think I was on the field watching, and he was very close to going. Like to the point where I thought his routes looked very much like Tyreek, and I was surprised when they said he was inactive. Just kind of given what I saw in pregame workouts, it seems like they were being cautious. The decision was, hey, we can take Tyreek at 80% maybe, and he may never be 100% for the rest of the season, or we could try to get him closer, and maybe it increases his percentage for the rest of the season. So it was a little bit of a long play cautious-wise, and it worked out because they blew the Jets out. So I think you'll see Tyreek. He may not practice on Wednesday, but I think you'll see him practice at some point Thursday or Friday, and I think you'll see him play on Sunday. As far as the offensive line, you'll see Teron, you'll see Liam. Austin's going to be an interesting one because he does have an oblique. Mike McDaniel said it's not as bad as Jalen Phillips, but he may be a guy who, given you have a long season ahead, I wouldn't be surprised if he misses this game. Javon Holland, that's one that may take some time. He may not be back this week. Like I reported in pregame that he's got MCL injuries on both of those knees, and it's taking longer than he anticipated. He wants to be back, but the worry is you don't want to overdo it and then ruin your season, and you're out for the season. And so he's not, from what I understood, he wasn't close to going Sunday. He wasn't one of the pregame workout guys like Xavier and Tyreek were iffy either way. He was already known he was going to be out when he arrived for the game. And so that makes me think that he's going to be a little bit further away, and maybe he's questionable again, and maybe on the other side of questionable if he's not ready to go. Robert Hunt as well. He's coming back from that quad. Since he just had a setback, I think they're going to be really cautious with him. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's another week for him as well. I don't know if I missed anybody else. Elliott should be coming out of the protocol soon, so I think he'll be back for this week. Deshaun Elliott. Who else did I miss?
I know Austin Jackson's the only one that we wouldn't know because he just got injured with the oblique.
The oblique. So yeah, the oblique. The Mike McDaniel said it wasn't as bad as the one that kept out Jalen Phillips, I think 3 or 4 games. But those obliques are kind of like hamstrings. They're soft tissue injuries, and even if you feel good, you want to be 100% on that thing because it can linger. And so I'd imagine that they take some time with that one. Just my kind of educated guess there.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. Cam, as always, what are you working on there in the NFL Network so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I'm going to be on today. I'm actually talking some Dolphins Cowboys. And so we'll be on the Insiders. It runs 12:15 on NFL Plus, and it'll be 1:15 on NFL Network. So talk a little bit about that game, and should be a big one. I'll be there on Sunday. I'll be there Christmas Eve on the sidelines for that game, and Thursday and Friday I'll also be talking some NFL Network ball of this Cowboys-Dolphins game. So should be a fun week.
All right. I'll be with the pig at home calling the pre-post, and it's Noche Buena for us, bro.
Absolutely. No, I hear you. Well, you get your good eat in, good drink in. I'm a little bummed, like. I'm always blessed to do this job, but I got family in town, and the way the 4:25 time is set up, we're still going to have our show from 9 to 1. So I'm going to be at the stadium at 8 a.m. And the game is not going to be over until probably 8:39, maybe 8 o'clock. I'm probably not going to get home till 9:30. And so my whole Christmas Eve is going to be up at Dolphin Stadium, which, like fans are saying, oh, well, that's great. I want my whole Christmas Eve there. I do enjoy what I do. But, I'm going to miss that family time. I'm glad I'll be back before the midnight bell hits. And
have you experienced the Noche Buena Cuban style?
I haven't. So we do it a little different. My wife cooks gumbo every Christmas or Christmas Eve. So I'll probably have a bowl of gumbo waiting for me when I get back home. But I've not done the South Florida Christmas Eve. So I'll have to try that one year.
You got to do that one time, bro. Yeah. Cajachita and everything with the pig. Oh, baby. You got
definitely want to try that.
All right, Cam. Good stuff. We'll catch up later in the week, my friend. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
You got it. All right, KSDT, baby. They got offices, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, and in North Carolina. In Charlotte, North Carolina. And they're hiring in all 4 of those offices. Tax, advisory, assurance, accounting. They do it all. Business taxes, folks. Whether it's year-end tax planning, where we're at now, payroll, sales, state, local consulting. They can help you out. Estate and trust taxes, business valuation. If we're talking about individual and family tax, they can handle all of that, from estate, gift tax planning. They do it all, folks. I'm telling you, from beginning to end, personal or business, and they can help you guide your business along the way. Payroll. You want to also kind of see how the market is going and what is happening down the line. They're experts, man. They know they know, or well, as best as you can, because nobody's ever perfect, but they are fantastic at helping you plan on what's coming up and what's going to affect your bottom dollar. So please reach out to the people at KSDT CPAs. They're going to help you with your business and grow it. Even if you need to sell it and you want to find out what is my business worth, KSDT CPAs can tell you exactly what your business is worth, so you can get every single dollar that you deserve and you've earned since you've built that business up. Call the folks at KSDT, whether you're looking to hire them for their services or you are looking to get hired. 305-670-3370. Please use that QR code right there. Tell them that Big O sent you. KSDT CPAs.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Give us 1 minute. Hour number 2 will start. Caneswear, baby. Don't forget, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. Online at caneswear.com, you can use our code and get 10% off. Remember, when you order over $99, you will get free shipping. If you walk in personally at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and you see Jeff and Brett or any of the great people out there, you tell them, hey, here's my code, BIG010, and you'll get 10% off of whatever you purchase there. We will start hour number 2 with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report with the one and only Manny Navarro.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Doing good, how are you?
Can't complain, my brother. Let's see if the Dolphins give me something to complain on Sunday. We shall see. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're at right now in the big picture. Where are we in our QB search? What is going on?
Well, I think you're part of the negotiating game. You're in the negotiating stage. You've had Cam Ward, you've had Will Howard come by.
I got no money. No, don't get me involved in this. I got no money.
Well, I know you're always good for some money, yo. You always got something in the back pocket between Bitcoin and everything else. You got something there, bro.
My Bitcoin. I'm not sure. Tell Cam I'm not giving him any of my Bitcoin. Okay, no. I'm doing it.
Well, I think the honest to God truth, when it comes to Cam Ward, I think a lot of this has to do with the NFL and whether or not he's going to decide to go pro. I think some of the grades he's gotten back, fourth round type grade. I think his family's probably interested in him making the jump to the next level. And so I think that's part of the reason why there's a delay in this process. He's deciding, I think he's going to decide probably by the end of the week what he's going to end up doing. But, Florida State has another option. Florida State has DJ Uiagalelei, who was at Oregon State. So they have somebody else. Miami is sort of looking now, well, what is our other option, right? Will Howard ends up committing to USC, which I think is what most people expect. Then KJ Jefferson is probably, what's behind door number 3 for Miami. And he's a guy who started a bunch of games at Arkansas. And I don't necessarily think would be any sort of downgrade. He wouldn't be as good as Cam Ward, certainly. Right. But I think that's potentially door number 3 for Miami.
And that's what you think is going to end up happening?
I don't know what's going to end up happening. I think a lot of this is ultimately Cam Ward. I think if Cam Ward decides I want to come back to college and raise my draft stock, because it is a loaded quarterback class in the draft, is it not? There's a lot of guys.
Yes, it is. Yes. That's why, when you said Cam Ward, 4th rounder, I found that interesting because I go, that's the kind of
pick that the Dolphins would throw out in the 4th or 5th round for a backup quarterback. So
yeah,
it's just like that, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think he has that pro potential, but for a guy like him, do you roll the dice, right, and say I'll come back for one more year of college and
they're going to pay you good money. They're going to pay you better money than 4th round money.
Right. If they give you 1.5, which is I think what the asking price is for Cam in college, if they're going to give you 1.5 for 1 year of college, or you go and you're a backup and you don't know what's going to happen, right? Because most NFL teams, if they take you in the 4th or 5th round, you're just waiting for somebody to get hurt.
Yeah.
I think, but that's ultimately what I think he's weighing right now. And I think once he reaches that decision, Miami will know what to do and to pivot. And listen, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there. Are all of them, awesome? Are all of them great? No, but I think you just need a bridge guy. You just need somebody who can get you to Emory Williams in 2025, so that Emory Williams has another year to develop, and then you have a whole nother recruiting cycle and you see what happens.
Wow. Okay, so we're at a point where it could get ugly for Miami at quarterback, actually.
It could, but I don't think it will. Because they've got money. Like Miami's clearly has money.
Apparently, the money's not good enough right now for Cam, the guy you want.
Right.
Not really about money for him if he's really thinking about because and this is what I was telling you. Like, okay, he'll make more money next year than he will in the NFL, but in the NFL, he's going to have a 3-year contract.
Right.
So he's going to be working already on his first contract and waiting for that opportunity. And you know how these guys are. All I need is my chance. And then when I get my chance, I'll prove it. And then I'll bring the money in and all that kind of stuff. So
the risk,
start working on your first contract or go back for one season and still risk injury and make money.
Right. That's what it is. It's risk. I think it's the risking the injury part for all these guys, because if you were in his position and you say, well, you could be a 4th round pick, right? Somebody takes you, you can already start that first contract, working your way towards a second. There's advantages to that. You're already in the league. You're reaching your dream. Whereas, hey, do I go back and risk injury, but I could maybe make myself into a first rounder, and get some serious big time payday in the beginning, and that way. So it's a lot to weigh. So I don't, I understand why Cam Ward is taking his time, because you really have to get a good feel. And I think part of this too is getting a good feel for which NFL teams really like you, right? Like which NFL teams, they give you a 4th round grade, but if an NFL team, doesn't need you or doesn't really think, you could slip to the 5th, 6th, 7th round, So
yeah. Is there any hardship in his family?
No, not that I'm aware of. I know both of his parents are very much involved in his life, and he raised in West Texas.
Frank Gore had to leave. Like he had no choice.
Yeah, there's certain guys that it's pivotal to. I mean, listen, you tell anybody $1.5 million to go to college or go and sign an NFL contract, like you're living a good life either way. It's not a bad thing, right? No. So he has good options. It's just picking the best option for himself.
Yeah. All right. So talk to me about the rest of the recruiting class, because, I'm reading, trying to flip Ohio State guy, that, top 5 possibly. What's going on?
Yeah. Last night they picked up Jordan Lyle, who is one of the best running backs in the country. He's technically their 3rd running back. I don't see how they take 3 running backs in this class. I think part of this is playing defense in case one of their other commitments flips to Alabama. Riley is his last name. And I think if he flips to Alabama, then Miami still takes 2 running backs, and you're happy with what you got. So that was a big pickup, getting Jordan Lyle last night. They're probably going to flip Armando Blunt. He's going to announce tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
That's the one that was to Ohio State.
That's the one that was committed to Florida State. It was committed to Miami, then he flipped to Florida State. Armando Blunt's a 5-star edge rusher. Okay. He committed to Miami in September, flipped to FSU in October. Then he moved up in class from 2025 to 2024, so he could graduate early because he's smart. He's got a smart kid with good grades and all that. And so now Miami's fighting to bring him back. There's a couple of other guys that they're pushing for. One of them is Xavier Lucas. He's a 3-star cornerback from Plantation American Heritage. He's committed to Wisconsin. Who's the other one I wrote about? There's too many kids to keep track of. Between that and the transfer portal, this is without question the zaniest time of the year, because there's just so much movement. And I'm tracking the transfer portal for the ACC, the SEC. I'm like sitting here just flipping through names all the time. And I'm telling you, the amount of player movement. I mean, I talked with Rhett Lashley. We have Rhett Lashley on for an interview for our podcast on The Athletic, our Stars Matter podcast. And he was just telling me some of the stuff off air about how kids nowadays, we had one commitment tell him, yeah, I'm gonna sign with you guys in December. This is in August. I'm gonna sign with you guys in December. But when I announce my top 3, I'm not gonna include you in there because I want to build the suspense. Meanwhile, he still has to recruit because he doesn't know whether or not to trust the kid if he's really going to follow through and sign in December. But this is just the example of the bullshit people have to deal with in recruiting now, with these kids, because they have so much power around, who they sign with and playing the game and NIL and all that kind of stuff. So it's crazy, but that's what's going on now, man.
Wow. All right. By the way, how good is Deion Sanders' class?
The Colorado class, well, listen, he's picking up transfers. The high school class rankings are not going to be very high because he's not going to take a lot of high school kids. And ultimately, all of those rankings, are predicated on how many kids you take. Like right now, Miami's 6th, right? If you look at it in total points or whatever, and they have a chance to crack the top 5. But a big part of that is they're taking close to 30 kids, right? Whereas the average player rating to me almost counts for more. It's quality of the kid.
Right, and Deion's taking transfers, guys that are closer to helping him win right now.
Exactly.
Is what he's doing, probably. Right. Okay, I got you. Yeah, and he must have a bunch of kids knocking on their door, and I would imagine that the boosters have lined up for Colorado. They have come in strong, I would imagine. And what sponsors do, or do they get to contribute to the fund?
Everything is money, man. Everything is how much money can your NIL initiative raise, and every one of these kids is looking to make a payday. You got to remember this. You look at the transfer portal now, and I spend a lot of time doing this, man. I create these large ass sheets, and I track every kid that leaves the school, how many snaps they play, how many starts. Like, there's so many kids that leave these SEC schools. They come in as 5- and 4-star recruits, and then they want to get paid because they didn't really play when they were at Alabama and Georgia on the bench, right? So those kids suddenly become valuable to a school like Colorado, who needs to bring in big-bodied studs, right? Even though they haven't played. So the amount of money that's raised just to lure these kids in is incredible. It's a racket, man. It really is.
All right. How do you think it's going to work out for Tyler Van Dyke in Wisconsin?
I think he's going to do well. I mean, they run an air raid type offense. They've got good players in Wisconsin. The Big Ten Conference is not going to be easy because there's some good defensive teams there. Obviously, I don't think Wisconsin's going to suddenly win the Big Ten and make the college football playoff. But there's talent there. He's got a good coach who's taken a team to a playoff before. So why not? Why not go play for a guy who won at Cincinnati and spend your last year in college trying to improve your draft stock? I think they're going to tailor the offense around him. They're going to let him throw the football. They'll probably play with some pace because that's when he plays at his best, when he's playing up-tempo style. And he'll do well. But he needed a change of scenery because things just weren't working out down here.
Yeah, I know. It's the right move for him. No doubt about it. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Better yet, subscribe. All right, folks?
Yeah.
Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday, my friend. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Good talking to you. Take care.
You got it. Thank you, sir. Don't forget to use our code BIG010 online at caneswear.com, and you get free shipping when you order over $99. But use our code BIG010 to get 10% off. And if you go in personally, you want to get a Inter Miami shirt or jersey, Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, or anything with a Hurricanes logo on it, they got it there at caneswear.com. or at Caneswear at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Give me 3 minutes. Rest the voice a little bit here on the Big O Radio Show.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, CuttersEdgePro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. I gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. CuttersEdgePro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. See, getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All for hanging in there with me, as always. Appreciate it. I'm not my usual self that I go 2.5, 3 straight hours of talking. I mean, I probably could, but then the voice would start to wear out. So I got to break a little bit. Make sure you get the proper treatment and everything. Got to have my concoction and all that kind of stuff. Got to have the oil and the lime and honey. Very, very key. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Checking Twitter, see if there's anything there. I don't see anything on Twitter. Oh, I did not know Freddie Coleman today. It's his birthday. Happy birthday to Freddie Coleman. In fact, you know what? Maybe let's do some birthdays right now. Why not? Katie Meyer, coach for the Miami Hurricanes, the Lady Canes. She is, of course, celebrating let me see. Hold on a second. Celebrating a birthday. What else do we have? Let's go birthdays. Here we go. Ready? Besides Katie Meyer, Jake Gyllenhaal is 43 years old today. What else? Tyson Beckford, model 53 today. Who else? Not the kind of list from yesterday. Yesterday was like a long list. Jennifer Beals, she is 60. It's amazing that Jennifer Beals is 60. Reggie White, rest in peace, born in the state in 61. We lost him, unfortunately, in 2004. Those are famous birthdays today. And little music history today. Why don't we do that? Started off 1970, Elton John with his first hit, America, Your Song, entered Billboard's Hot 100 and peaked at number 8 in 1970. In 75 on this date, Ronnie Wood joined the Rolling Stones. In 2012, Billboard announced that Bruce Springsteen had the second most earning tour of the year, followed by Roger Waters. Madonna took the tour spot at number 1. And in 87, Paul Simon was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live. By the way, Paul Simon was the musical guest with host Paul Simon, the politician and presidential candidate. Interesting. A Paul Simon and a Paul Simon on Saturday Night Live. That's very interesting. Anyway, remember, if your business wants to be a part of our business, you can reach out to our business line at 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. If you want to be a part of it, 786-754-4664. If you want to host one of our segments, if you want our platform at your business, promoting your business, please reach out to our platform there in our business line at 786-754-4664.
Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. Every little bit helps, as always. You know that. Visiting our sponsors, hitting the the like button, subscribing, donations, all those kind of different things always helps out. We really appreciate it immensely. Douglas Katz, thank you, sir. Says, happy holidays, Big O and team. Let's kick Dallas's ass. I appreciate you, sir, on Venmo, Cash App, or Venmo. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App, or Venmo. Thank you all out there as always. Okay. Let's see. I say that as a lifelong 46-year-old fan of this team, to me, the only way you prove you're ready for big games is winning out. We've had enough doubt surrounding our team for years. No more doubt. Well, that's what I'm all about. I don't believe this has anything to do with the past. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't at all. And if it happens, it's going to fall on the coach more than anybody else. The talent is there like I have not seen it in a long, long time. Do they need to get healthy? Yeah, we need to get Robert Hunt back, and we need to get Holland back, and X back, and Tyreek back, and get Austin Jackson healthy. If the guys that are supposed to all come back, you get those guys healthy, and I like this team to beat anybody. Okay? Anybody. All right? The San Francisco Challenge is going to be tough. But anybody else, I'm pretty confident in. Because San Fran's got one hell of a team. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be, that's a hell of a team there. San Fran. That would be one tough nut to crack. But anybody else, you would run into Philadelphia, not that they were going to get through San Francisco. But, I like this team. It's up to McDaniel to put it together and get it done, man. And this is a great stretch because we get to find out about the coach now. And kind of, you've been given the talent, call the game the right way, get these guys over the hump, and let's get it done. I think that's why I told you at the beginning, at the beginning of the show, this is the exciting time because you finally get to crack through that threshold these 3 weeks. And it starts with Dallas this week. And they've got to know it, man. They've got to know it. Got to know it. By the way, when Nick Bosa said that we exposed Jalen Hurts, is that true? Because they've lost 3 in a row. They lost the San Fran game, then they lost to Dallas badly, and they lost to Seattle last night. And his numbers, actually his numbers against San Fran were the best ones, 26 of 45 for 298, but only 1 touchdown. And then against Dallas, it was 18 of 27, 197 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Last night, very pedestrian, 17 of 31, 143, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And whether he's missing open people or not going to the right person or whatever, he's getting some, like he had 80 yards yesterday rushing, but his numbers are not anything impressive. Is there anything to what Nick Bosa said? Did they figure out Jalen Hurts? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of odd, It's funny how we watch things develop as fans, right? And then we watch how Jalen Hurts kind of breaks through and has a really good year last year and all that. And, and then you're humming along this year. And now you start hitting all these bumps in the road. And a player literally comes out and says, yeah, no, we put it on tape, how you expose this guy. And so now they've lost 2 in a row after that. And you start to think about, did they figure out Jalen Hurts? Because his numbers aren't really, they're not looking like real franchise quarterback passing numbers. And start looking at that, and you're going, I wonder if Nick Bosa actually had something there. So it's kind of weird, man. It's an interesting one, I gotta say. Did they expose him? Is the question. All right. Reach out to Safid for me, please. See what's the deal with my man Safid. Big O, a good team is a team that can win without your superstar on the field. Well, I yes and no. It was good that they won without Tyreek. I don't give you much credit. It's the Jets. Okay, you did what you were supposed to do yesterday on Sunday. You're supposed to kick their ass. They have no offense, dude. None. You know what I'm saying? The impressive part was the Miami offensive line against that defense, because that's legitimate for the Jets. But I'm going to be impressed the next 3 weeks, with or without Tyreek, whatever. You start winning these games. These are the games that I need to see you rise above. Hey, we're talking about the Fraud Bowl here. That's what this is. Somebody just sent me this note. Cowboys and Dolphins will be the first game in the NFL history between two teams with 20 plus combined wins, but one or fewer wins versus teams minus 500. Cowboys 1-3. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. 1 second. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. All right, we're good. Okay. Anyway, so what was I saying now what was I talking about now? Now I forgot, because I had to answer a text here. What was I saying? Was I still talking Jalen Hurts? What was it? I don't hear you, Sean.
Sorry, I had the mic off. Fraud Bowl.
Oh, the Fraud Bowl. Yes, I was talking about the Fraud Bowl. So the Fraud Bowl, Cowboys are 1-3 versus teams above 500, 9-1 versus teams below 500. But Dolphins are 0-3 versus teams above 500 and 10-1 versus teams 500 or below. So they're 19-2 against 500 or below, and they're 1-6 against teams above 500. Problem is they're both above 500, and they're the teams that don't beat the teams that we're talking about. So if you beat this team, does it really count? If you cut a tree in the forest, did everybody hear it? I don't know. Anyway, so what's it called? Tony Montana, the fact that you would put Miami in a Fraud Bowl, you should change your name to Hannah Montana. There we go. It's the Fraud Bowl. Whoever loses takes the title. The Fraud Bowl. That's it. This is the Fraud Bowl. It's not a winner taking the trophy. It's the loser taking the trophy. The other one graduates and can move on and can shed that label and then has to beat the next one. The other one falls deeper into the fraud because they lost to something that was formerly called a fraud. So, that's kind of the way it is. You don't want to be a fraud, so you can't lose this game. That's what happens here if you lose this game. You take the title of most fraudulent. And nobody's been more fraudulent than the Cowboys over the years, because they have been multiple times promoted. Every time they have like a decent start or whatever, they're like the second coming or
preseason hype and all that kind of stuff. So Miami can't fall for that stuff, man. Can Dolphins offense find enough plays against the Cowboys? Yes. Dude, the Dolphins are better than the Cowboys. They just have to go out and prove it. That's all. They got to go out and prove it. They're better. Guaranteed they're better. All right, let's do 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. Why don't we? Let's get to it. Timberwolves, by the way, beat the Heat last night 112-108. Miami now drops to 15-12. Minnesota improves to 20-5. Wednesday, they're at Orlando. Calgary last night beat the Panthers 3-1. Thursday, they're at St. Louis, 7 o'clock. Last night, Seahawks defeated the Eagles 20-17, keeping their playoff hopes alive. They're 7-7. Philly drops to 10-4. Cowboys and Dolphins Sunday at 1 o'clock. We will get you ready at 11 a.m. Dolphins are favored by 1.5 points. All right. There you go. And 3A Graphics, man, you got to call my guy, Alan Blanco. They do amazing work. So if your company, your organization, your club, your fantasy team, you need shirts, hats, whatever it is, flags, they do it all. Calendars, you name it. 3A Graphics can do it for you. Magnetic calendars, whatever it is that you need for your business, pens, anything, call the folks at 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. They do great custom printing and embroidery. Check them out. 786-618-1443. What you got, Sean?
Did you say the wrong time on the pregame?
It's not 11 a.m.? Oh, it's a 4:25.
4:25 start.
It's a 2:25. Yes. I got you. Oh, man. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh. Okay. All right. What else do we have? Oh, I hope Miami wins. I don't want to hear them boys from bandwagon Cowboys. Yeah, you're going to hear it. And Miami has to win this game. Dallas can't stop the run. All right. They're kind of soft as it is. They're not great on the road. You can't lose this one. And then now you've lost 2 of 3. You got to win this game. Okay? You've got to win this game. You're at home. You need to take care of business. No excuses. Make Dallas the frauds. That's it. I think you've got a better head coach. I think you've got the better team. Go out and prove it. I think you got the better quarterback too. Got to prove it, man. This is the Fraud Bowl. You don't want that label, right? This is the Fraud Bowl. So let's hand Dallas what properly belongs to them. Frauds. The last game in Miami needs to be Buffalo's Waterloo. Ooh, I like that, Luigi. Can Dolphins offense find enough plays? They can. I hope Miami wins. Yes. If we beat Dallas, fans should hit Cowboys with a here we go chance. Tony Montana says, Fraud Bowl, baby. Let's go. The Tennessee game was a huge loss by McDaniels. We could have taken the division with just one more win. Yeah. But, hey, man, listen. This gives you an opportunity for a sweet way to end the season. I'd rather just beat Buffalo at the end of the year. And I'm glad that they're playing well. You know, it's good that they're playing well. Last night, the Heat. So let me give you a good and bad Hard Rock Live story. Okay. So the Heat last night, I think it was the Timberwolves favored by 1.5, and I wasn't going to bet that. You know, I didn't like the game for Miami, to be quite honest. And so then I was watching the live line as I'm watching the game. And later in the second half, they take a lead, and there's a 4.5-point edge, plus 4.5 for Miami. So I said, you know what? I'll take that one. I think Miami can either win or keep it close, at least, if they lose. And I got lucky. 112-108. I have won by 0.5 point. Okay. So now I'm watching the hockey game. And Calgary, the game opened, Panthers minus 1.5 goals. I don't like to give that half goal. So I usually don't take it. So I waited. Calgary scored first. So all of a sudden, the way the algorithms go, it changed it right away, and it put Calgary favored by 1.5 goals now. I took the Panthers plus 1.5 goals. I figured I like my chances now. Cats, like minutes after I made the bet, they tied it at 1-1. I'm feeling good. They lost 3-1. So the 0.5 point I won in the Heat, it's the 0.5 goal I lost in the Panthers. So, that's gambling, you know what I mean? But I went with I went with value picks both ends, lost on one, won on the other. You know what I mean? But that's I still took the value. And to me, that's the important part about if you're going to wager and if you're going to invest, try to look at it into your favor as much as possible. It's gambling, folks. So, there's a good chance you're going to lose. You have to understand that. But try to, at least, if you can, bring it to your side. Anyway, since Big O put on the Bitcoin hat, Bitcoin's been going down. Actually, it's not been going down, but whatever, Tony, if you want to create whatever, you want to be another one of those idiots that has lost against me every single time, you can go ahead and do that. It's all good in the hood. I think Bitcoin is up 2.3%. Anyway, Big O, this is the semifinals to the Super Bowl. No, what it is this is the start of your playoffs. Is what it is. That's what we're watching right now for the Miami Dolphins. The start of the playoffs for them. This is like a playoff atmosphere beginning for them. That's the way I would look at this situation. And in a way, Buffalo has been playing in the playoffs now for the last couple of weeks because they got to a point where they put themselves backed up into a corner and they had to start winning. And they came up with 2 quality wins now in the last 2 weeks. Now they get 2 easy games, and then they face the Dolphins at the end. And so the Bills are at a point where they've got 8 wins. They have to keep winning or they could be out of the playoffs. The Dolphins could knock them out. They could be out even with 10 wins. You never know. I don't know how the whole math is going to break down, but it's odd like that. Sometimes it happens. The year that Miami won the division, both Miami and New England had 11 wins, if I remember correctly, and yet Miami won the division because they had the tiebreaker. And New England lost and was out of the playoffs. So the things like that can happen. And they've been in that intensity of being in the playoffs. Maybe the intensity for the Dolphins, you've kind of made the playoffs already in a way, pretty much, unless there's a complete cave-in. You've got to now play like this is like the playoffs. You're playing against quality opponents, teams that you might meet in the playoffs. Not that the Dallas Cowboys will get to the Super Bowl, but they're going to be a playoff team. Baltimore's going to be a playoff team, and Buffalo's trying to be a playoff team. So now you have entered a playoff-like atmosphere to finish the season, and maybe that's a good thing for Miami. not the desperation, the failure of last year against Buffalo, that you get to the playoffs and then the things didn't go well for you, especially for the coach, because he didn't have a good game. In a way, he kind of screwed his own team in that game. And the fact that these guys, you love how Chubb came back with fire this week because he knew he had screwed up the week before. There's a lot on the line right now, and I think they're well aware of all of this. So maybe this will give them some inspiration. Maybe. Would be nice. We've been saying all season you got to beat the 3 teams. Hopefully this stretch is where they finally cross. Exactly. Yeah, man. Tyreek needs to be the icing on the cake for the offense, not the main ingredient. Well, it's not so. No, you can, my brother, you can be the main ingredient. What it can't be is the overwhelming ingredient where it just drowns the rest of the food out. You know what I'm saying? Like you put way too much cinnamon on it. Something like that. Oh my God, you put too much salt. And it just stood out and it killed everything else. That kind of stuff. That's what it has to be. There has to be a little bit more balance, which is what we saw this week. And I hope that some of that influence from this week rolls into next week. Boca jaw surgery. We love Ronnie Katz, baby. If you need any cosmetic type surgery or any kind of repair, anything like that, please call my guy. Boca jaw surgery. Ronnie Katz. He knows how to get it done, man. The Buffalo Bills will be in the AFC Championship game. Miami needs to beat them on January 7th. They have home field and do it again in the AFC Championship game. Beating Buffalo is where our focus needs to be. Let's hope so. No, I don't think it's a jinx. I think it's being inept and not good enough that doesn't get you over the hump. And that's why I don't believe that this is this team anymore. That's the past. This team has got way too much talent, man. They've got to be able to put it together. Big time. Let's see. Big O, why you gaffling like Sleepy Joe? I don't know. Don't know why I'm gaffling like Sleepy Joe. Maybe because I'm sleepy. Oh. Maybe I'll trip later, and then I'll feel like Joe Biden. That will definitely get me closer to Joe. A little trip in his honor. What else do we have going on? John Morant returns tonight for the Grizzlies against New Orleans at 7:30. Will he learn his lesson after a 25-game suspension? Talk is cheap. He said all the right things, and I get it, but outside of that, there's a lot left to be desired. Let's just put it that way. Okay? A lot left to be desired. That's all I can tell you. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It's one of those things that if this kid, we've watched players in the past ruin their entire careers in continuing to do stupid thing after stupid thing after stupid thing. John Morant did something incredibly stupid that was unexplainable. You have a conversation with the commissioner about guns, and within days, you do it again. It was you just basically slapped the crap out of the commissioner and just basically told him, brother, you mean nothing in my world. The NBA doesn't mean anything. I'd rather be a punk. And that's scary for the league, scary for Memphis. They're paying this kid a lot of money. And here's a young man that has an opportunity to help a lot of people besides himself. Hopefully he realizes it, because we've watched people just ruin their careers with stupid decisions. And this guy's too good for that, man. Think about how this draft would end. Like Zion Williamson's a disaster because he is a disaster. He can't make good decisions with the refrigerator or with women or with money or with anything or basketball. And he's become a terrible draft pick because he's so unreliable and, you just can't count on the guy. John Morant was the clear-cut right pick at number 2. And then this happened. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Whoa. People were talking about can't miss for a lot of these guys. And Ja has been everything and more. I listen, as a basketball fan, I hope he makes it. I hope he figures it out because it's a lot more fun to watch John Morant play. The league's better with John Morant playing. Hopefully he'll grow up, man. No, you could be great like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, and you don't have to be a punk, a thug, an idiot. Most of these great players are actually great people. So we get to admire them because they were great, and then their personalities and their character carried them through all the time. And that's what we end up admiring. We don't really end up admiring the guy that's a punk. And he's also a good player. You kind of, there's always that bitter taste that yeah, he can play, but you always appreciate the other guy. You appreciate Alonzo Mourning. You appreciate Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. Jesus Christ. And he's a tough guy. You can be a tough guy, but not a punk, not a thug, not a criminal. You can be a tough guy. Nothing wrong with that. I hope he grows up, man, because he's only going to cheat the rest of us. By the way, let me give the Dolphins a victory cigar because yesterday, Sean, we failed to give them a victory cigar from Perdomo. Well-deserved. Well-deserved. And an extra one for Mike McDaniel. Give Mike McDaniel a victory cigar, please. Give it to him. Love the way he called the game. There was more logic to it. I'm hoping I see elements of this from here on out to the Super Bowl. Okay? That's what I'm really hoping for because I really like what I saw last week, a little bit more balance. And when you get Tyreek back, please use some balance. And it's what I was telling Cam. It becomes unfair to others that everybody's running routes and not everybody's getting a slice of the pie. And you're throwing too much to one guy. And it's not about the 2,000 yards. It's about winning a Super Bowl. And so make it a little easier for your offense. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I was proud of Mike McDaniel this past week. So I want to give him a victory cigar because he deserves it, man. He certainly deserves it. Let's see. Dude 67 in. Stephen Harris. Canes Dolphins. Miami needs to adopt a mad dog mentality and come out ripping chunks off each opponent, play hard, smash mouth football. Chubb needs to run with dog mentality. Chubb's been playing like that for weeks, bro. He's been playing really well. Yeah. John Morant's got to be a better person, and it'll become a better role model. He talked about it. I listened to him, and he talked about making the right decisions, being around the right people, and all that kind of stuff. Go look at Jalen Ramsey. Just go look at Jalen Ramsey. Perfect freaking example, dude. Guy carries himself super cocky, super confident in his ability, all that kind of stuff. But he's all leader. He's surrounded by good people. He's not getting in trouble, all that kind of stuff. Jalen's handling his business. You know, it's good stuff. That's the way you got to learn to be. And listen, what happened to Ja can happen to a lot of us. You, me, kids, everybody out there. You make your mistakes. We all do. None of us are perfect. I'm far from perfect. I constantly make mistakes. But you got to learn from them. And you got to grow from them. And the bad ones that we make, those are the ones we got to avoid. You know, stupid ones, little ones, this, that. We're late here, there. You know, hey, we're not perfect. Okay. But the ones that you made and you didn't mean to, or you got emotional or whatever it was, you got to learn from it. And hopefully the kid will learn because, man, there's way too much talent there to not learn from all of that. All right, looking forward to Hard Knocks tonight. I really am. I am looking forward to it big time to see who gets focused in on. And Hard Knocks is a lot easier to watch when you're coming off a win. You know, the loss last week, you weren't looking forward to Hard Knocks. Plus, it was going to give you a taste of what happened again and the heartbreak and all that. And then the talk just doesn't sound as good either. You know, from the coach or the players, there's not a lot of, you know, confidence coming from it because there's a loss. You'll feel better when you watch Hard Knocks tonight, at least. So that's good, at least for you all out there. All right. We thank Cameron Wolf and Manny Navarro. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend that knows how to get it done every single day. We will see you tomorrow live at Top Gun Indoor Range. 10 a.m. We'll be there live. Y'all be good out there. See you tomorrow. Same time. Same place. Same bat channel.